Test correction section 5. This is where we have to graph the inequalities. So we have to graph it and we have to shade it. Okay, this goes back to standard form. Remember, in standard form, this is A, this is B, and this is C. So when I find the vertex for standard form, I have negative B divided by 2A. So that would be negative 3 divided by 2 times negative 1. That's what that is right there, negative 1. So my x is negative 3 divided by negative 2, which is positive 1.5. 1.5 is not probably your favorite thing to have to graph, but we are going to kind of estimate it, and it's okay. It's just 1.5. Now, the trickier part for this problem was to find the y. So my y value is going to be negative, parentheses, 1.5 squared plus 3 times 1.5 plus 2. And to do that, we're going to use the calculator. But if you didn't use the calculator, if you want to check your math, you would have the negative sign still there. 1.5 squared is 2.25 plus 4.5 plus 2. So when you take negative 2.25 plus 4.5 plus 2, your y value is 4.25. So graphing that on this equation, the x value is 1.5, the y value is 4.25. So 1.5 is, right in here-ish. And then 4.25, 1, 2, 3, 4.25 is right in here. And since you're kind of estimating it, if you're off a tad bit, it's not that big of a deal. The thing I'm looking for the most here is that you know that your y-intercept has got to be 2, which means when I make the symmetry, it's got to be right over here. So when I connect these 3 points, first of all, it opens downward. And second of all, it has to go through the y-intercept. It has to go through at 2. Alright, now I've drawn it as a solid line because it's equal to, and it's also greater than, which means shade above. So when I shade above on this, I'm shading up here because it's above the vertex. Above the vertex tells me which side of my graph. So I'm either shading outside the U or I'm shading inside, and since the vertex is right here, right in here, since my vertex is there, shading above the vertex means I have to be out here. Okay? So that's how you shade that problem. Now number 20 is also a shading problem, but we have 2 equations this time. Y is less than or equal to negative x squared plus 4. And then I also will have y is greater than x squared minus 2x minus 3. And I'm not that concerned with whether it's a solid line or a dotted line. I'm more concerned with whether or not you can graph it. So the first one here, this is the quadratic parent function form. It's the quadratic parent function. It's been reflected and it's been shifted up 4 places. So if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4 and make my vertex, then my slope is negative 1. So down 1, right 1, down 1, left 1, where they're mirrored, gives me this shape right here. Okay? For this problem, I'm shading less than, so the shading is inside down here. Alright, now, when I get to this problem, though, it's in standard form. How do I know the difference? Well, this one has an A and a B and a C. So when I do standard form, I have negative B So it's a negative negative 2 divided by 2 times 1. So that's positive 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So my x value is 1. My y value is going to be 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. So 1 minus 2 minus 3 is 1 minus 5 is negative 4. So together my vertex is 1, negative 4. So when I go over to 1, negative 4, my graph's not great. So when I go over to 1, negative 4, and put my vertex point down there, this time the slope, well, you can use the slope as 1, or remember, very important, the y-intercept is negative 3 right there. So if I can make a mirror point, you can see where this is going to make the u, extend this up. Now notice it's not going to be perfect, but when I shade this one, I'm going to shade above because it's greater than. Okay, so this one over here went down and this one over here went up. So the area that's getting the double shading is right inside here. It's right between the two graphs. Okay, now this line was supposed to be dotted. So if I go back and make it dotted, that's fine. If you didn't go back and make it dotted, I did not, I probably didn't even take off any points because I was much more concerned with whether or not you could graph the parabola and find the shading. So those are all of your test corrections. Make sure that you get them turned in before you try to take a retest.